Blog Talk Radio.
Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. La la et la, la la di la et le. La 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 et la, la 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 et le. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. La la et le, la la di la et le. La 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 et la 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 et le. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. La la et le, la 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 et le. La 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 et la 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 et le. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. La la et le, la 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 et le. La 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 et la 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 et le. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. La la et le, la 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 et le. La 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 et la 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 et le. Mon mari, je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. La la et le, la 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 et le. La la et la 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 et le. Je dis mon mari me vaut. Mon mari me vaut, petit goûter donne-moi. Mon arrivé, mon madame, mon arrivé à deux. Mon arrivé, mon madame, ma grand petit mari. Oh ma dénonce, oh ma dénonce, akan ketipu, oh ma dénonce, akan komodo, oh ma dénonce, oh ma dénonce, oh ma dénonce, akan ketipu, oh ma dénonce, oh ma dénonce, oh ma dénonce.
Hello? 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 Today is Thursday, June 12th, 2014. Boon, B-O-O-N, B-O-O-N. Blessings, praises, 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 salubrious. My name is Irene Ratliff, Regal Street Meat Company. Street Meat Company is a nonprofit organization seeking partners and sponsorships such as the listening audience to help ameliorate goals that can improve our community. Listeners, you can call 646-564-9776. 646-564-9776. You can call. Matter of fact, we even have a chat. You can chat with me. Okay, straight beat that point. street meet the point. We are on air up to 120 minutes daily, starting at 11:30 p.m. I must be honest that I assume that maybe 30, 45 minutes today of conversation. I did, no, maybe a little longer because I had to pull out this book. That is true. Remember, I was like, oh, we're going to go over this law stuff, but I just so happened to kind of brush over the morality, politics, and law, and saw that it was really some good information. It's not really quite what I was looking for, but it's still good. So I want to read a few things coming out of that. I wanted to say, again, we are on Blog Talk's premium package. We would like to maintain the package. We need donations. Please visit our websites at www.streetmeet.biz and www.meetup.com/meet. Streaming Mingle will be on Sunday, July 6, 2014. Street Meet Mingle. You know, I had called one of these fiscal people, and here it is. It just sounded like it was a... I said, no. Let's start it over again. So, yes, I'm knocking at your door. Street Meet Mingle will be Sunday, July 6, 2014 at 2 p.m. at the Southwest Library, and hoping to see you. That one too. Let's don't get it twisted. But honey, we bobbleheads, right? I don't know what to tell you. It's my stuff. Anyway, they have a park area, and they have a park area over there, and they have drums and dance, and we can create some cheer. Yes, we can. I really like the area too. You know, matter of fact, I need to get over there and kind of, you know, matter of fact, I went over there and I kind of sat down with a couple of people, and he was drunk, and then here it is, he went somewhere else, and I'm like, yeah, I need to go over there and talk. I need to go over there and talk to Utoy Springs. Some of the people, and find out who's actually over that little, what they would call the horseshoe. I did mention that. I did take some pictures of the area. You know, get a rake, kind of clean it up a little bit, you know. Yes, Street Meat Company want to adopt the area. The reason why is because it's a beautiful sitting area, and those trees, I mean, you could just tell that the barks of those trees have been there forever. So, yeah. And then I went back over there. We had cleaned up the park a little bit. I don't know. They didn't take out the trash. I'm like, honey, let's go and get a bag or something, you know. But if we over there, you know, it should be our responsibility to stay on point with that, period. Just know that. Okay. There are so many things to do, and we value your support, and we encourage our listeners to get involved with their local associations. There's just so many of them. There's public ones, there's private ones, there's semi ones. It doesn't matter. Get involved. Yeah, some of these people, they want some money, but when you know, hey, there is a difference between tithes and offerings. I did. Neighborhood club associations. Know your politicians. Join your libraries and read and research more often. Locate the local law library. That woman said she didn't want no wet money. About to get body, and the little girl, I said, that gives us cyber. And build street level laws. Now here it is, hold up. We don't need a whole bunch of laws. I don't know if people understand when I say street level laws. We don't want a whole lot of laws on us. I ain't gonna fib you. Honey, we want to have, matter of fact, we should be fine combing some of these laws, okay? And the reason why is because we want to be free. And if you got all these laws and stuff trying to hinder us and some of all this red tape and shit like that, excuse my French. What? No. So let me make sure that we understand, because, you know, they got ordinances and rules and law. We want to create some them things in that level for kite society, yes. And so they was like, oh, we're going to throw kite society in the Google Saba. No. Kite society is kite society. Oh, you understand? Not everybody should be on kites. Not looking like they look. We're professionals. Anyway, I'm like, really? Matter of fact, we need people right now to sit inside of some of these courthouses and observe some of these public defenders. What in the world are they saying and what are they doing and why are these people being thrown in jail and yet here it is, someone wants to tell me about here it is, a remote eye. Wait a minute. Yet here it is, they building prisons for our children. Ask me. Don't be looking at me, accusing me. That done went somewhere else. You know we need to change that name. And no, we'll go over that, but it'll be called Street Meat Company. Not Naguzo Saba. Anyway, join the Park and Recreation Department. There are so many things to be involved with. And know the know. For real, though. Today, I wanted to attend the breakfast with the CEO of MARTA, Keith Parker, I think his name. You know, I'm like, oh, I got all this thing to tell or say, but you know, when you get to these places, you have to behave yourself. Yay. But due to travel, I can't feel, due to travel, I was unable to attend, so maybe this time I'll be able to participate, I guess, with the CEOs of the various organizations and corporations. Yes, I do want to meet many of you. Yay! Though I did try to attend a scheduled meeting for this month, it was not scheduled. It was actually scheduled for Thursday, June 26th. They had a series of meetings for the month of May. But then here it is, and maybe that's because they were re-regulating how they were scheduling the meetings. Most of them are on Thursday. But they didn't have a meeting today. Okay, so I didn't stay over there, but I was able to actually house a conversation with one of the gentlemen on the customer service. He was so nice, and he was letting me know for the comprehensive meeting I should be there. And I agreed. You know, the thing was is that they wanted to say how they wanted to go about, I guess, making some improvements. I am a MARTA rider. What improvements are you trying to make? We do not need a hike on our fares. However, I do think that those people who are working at MARTA should work from within and start working with the corporations and get more people to do park and ride. Start with them before you start raising our prices. Let's look at our environment. Let's consider that those buses that go over there on Alabama, over there by 5 Points, maybe that should move and go to Garnett. Now, when you look at Garnett, wouldn't it be convenient because it's right there at Greyhound bus station to utilize, here it is, that space? Yes, it would work. Maybe we wouldn't see all them people hanging around there looking like that. Move them over there by them. Okay, Magic City is there. Huh? Hey, matter of fact, I tell you one thing, bus 183, yes, we need to reroute that. So I will ride my bicycle, blessings, and I will look and see what we can do. Yay. Suggestions. Can I sit on your board? Yay. Anyway, so I did make that meeting, and the gentleman was allowing me to speak, and I did say something about Bus Route 71. I do like the frequency. Don't get it twisted. But I think that Bus 71 should be one bus, whether, irregardless if it goes to one apartment or the next. It can go over there in Kimberly and make the loop. Then come out of that loop and then make the left and go to the other apartment complex. But because I'm not driving, okay, I'm not able to really see how far 71 should go. 71 probably could go farther than what I'm even communicating in terms of the Southwest Arts Center. I'm only telling you the truth. So maybe here it is, hopefully somebody is able to help me drive over there on Cascade and see how far that actually drives to so that we can appropriate the distance of Bus Route 71. But yes, Bus Route 71 should reach up to the Southwest Arts Center. We have a lot of people who want to take advantage of it that do not have a ride. Yes, it is a public facility. Okay? For those who want to feel like they're uppity. That belongs to regular people like me. And our children. We pay taxes too. All right. SCP, Federal Contracting. I did some SBA training today, okay? Oh, boy. Listen, we have, I don't want to hear nobody else talking about no Black Wall Street. I mean, to even remotely communicate with these people going round and around with themselves talking about these directories. And so anyway, I met this person, this lady, at the meeting, and they was like, menu. I was like, I know that's right. So she was explaining how she doing this and doing that. No one is disputing the menu people. Oh, gosh. I know that there are some specialties here and there. However, I think the whole aspect of the menu conversation really was for the Opportunity Hub. It was like if you're collecting a lot of these people who are IT, wouldn't you assume that they would have collectively put the people together and made that thing look like it should? That's all. I mean, other than that, I know that here it is, that menu categories. Okay, we can have that over here, we can have that over there, and of course, everybody's work may or may not be different. But a circle is a circle, just like a triangle is a triangle, and a rectangle is a rectangular. Now, what you're doing within it, that makes all the difference. Okay? Okay. Anyway, moving right along, because here it is with true amelioration. We want to think in and outside of the boxes. And the lines. Anyway, looking to gain support from those who may have hub zones. Don't play. Do not play. What? You know, they were talking about teamwork. Is it possible that maybe we can work together? What is it? Don't be over there like you all in hiding. I don't mind accepting donations or even being paid for some of my services. Don't get it twisted. Okay? So the question is, we have 8A also, and 501c3. If you're not using it, yes, we want to work together. Yes. Accused. What? Naguzo Saba. Street Meat Company. Let's work together and try to collaborate with other persons. Collaborate just seems like they went somewhere else. But yes. Collaborate with other persons and improve our community, Ujima. Collective work and responsibility. The conversation arose to what it is. It is Street Meat Company. Everything else is a branch. Okay, so the branches of Street Meat Company, all of them are important. Every last one of them are important. And we have True Amelioration, Naguzo Saba, Tulips, Blog Talk, and Kite Society. Every last one of them to me are important. But I must admit, Naguzo Saba has been adopted as Street Meat Company's base. Let me explain to you why. The reason is because it is fundamental. It is quintessential. You know, there were certain things that I was like, oh, we got to pick up the trash. We have to appreciate where we live. You know, where I was when I was initially starting to write about those things I was living in an area where you saw that there was some deterioration and that they were building certain places and that they were doing, it just looked a hot mess. We had alcoholics and drug addicts and things like that. And it was just like, okay, hold on. We had to pick up this trash. We had to do this. We had to do this. Yes, I could tell somebody something even if I drink a glass of wine. Really? Yes. Nguzo Saba. Okay, hold on. So the reason is because it is fundamental. It is quintessential. It is. And Kite Society is quintessential too. I assume when we view elementary or kindergarten, we are given rules. And when we look at the fundamental rules or guidelines, see, you know, they will give us, matter of fact, we need to get that list. Some people seem like they forgot some rule. Now, if they haven't forgot, we don't act like we don't know it. But it'll be like, here it is, have respect for others. Matter of fact, I need to pull out that list so that I can read that every day. Because when we look at, here it is, don't kick, don't fight, don't spit, don't bite, don't be rude, respect for others. What else? If you have a question, raise your hand, blah, 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 blah. A little list they give us when we go to kindergarten or rules or whatever the little Head Start teacher want to tell us. And so that's how I see Nguzo Saba. Nguzo Saba explains just that, unity. It explains self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. I ain't gonna fib to you. I need to go over these things myself. The reason why I think I need to add to it and modify some of the things that's being worded by Dr. Maulana Karenga. Because a street meat company and this adoption, I really don't know what all that is. I'm only looking at it and filling it up with how Irene Ratliff see it in terms of street meat company. Or, regards. Turned and went somewhere else. Hey, let's get it understood. I want to work with other people, but I'm going to tell you the truth. It is Street Meat Company. Nguzo Saba, True Amelioration, Tools, Blog Talk, Kite Society, those are branches of Street Meat Company. Okay? So someone asked me, well, here it is. How would it work with the business cards? Well, it would have the spider monkey on the front. It would say Street Meat Company, and on the back it would say Kite Society. So Kite Society already has a little kite. Okay? And because we have Kite Society is focused on 4, knowledge, intelligence, talents, and education, then it got 4 little ribbons. And everybody will know what that is. So on that string, that's what that means. But we ain't going through all of that. It's just Kite Society. So once we get into it and people are actually involved and they participate in it, we're going to know what that means, period. That's security. Okay? Law, research, security. Okay? That's Kite Society. Now, when we get to Nguzo Saba, all right, here it is. Nguzo is that head. And that little pyramid, that's Nguzo. And yes, we'll break it down because Nguzo got 7 little principles. And I already named them off to you guys. So on the back of on the other side of that, it will have Nguzo Saba. So anyway, the thing is, yes, it is Street Meat Company. Okay? I really would like to see Nguzo Saba be one thing. We are not breaking that. It doesn't make any sense to be like, oh, excuse me. Keep it modified. Keep it together. To me, that's how it looks. Like, here it is, this is this, this is this, and it's collective. It ain't, okay, I'm going to take this part, this. Yes, that too, but it just depends on what it is. Those become subcommittees. Oh, I know. Little itty bits and pieces here and there. What? We got to work it out. But they can be subcommittees, but Nguzo Saba is Nguzo Saba. First, we gotta house Nguzo Saba. Who's gonna work in that? Well, I'm gonna let you know right now. What do y'all look like? I've been meeting a few people there, here, and there. Don't get me twisted, honey. I understand. I told you, honey, I felt like I should have upgraded a long time ago, and I wasn't on the up pages, on the down pages, but the it pages. And you know, we doing the Nguzo Saba. Now I'm feeling like I need to pinch my ambute. I've been learning Spanish all my life. Yes, I should be. Yes, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. Tengas un bien día. With no problemas. However, mi no signo no español. No habla español. Yes, people. Yes. Yes, we should be bridging relationships through languages. Those of you, please learn how to speak French, Spanish, Italian. Yes, those romance languages. Mm-hmm. You know, majority of the Africans, they speak French and English and all that stuff too. But yes, we have to give thanks to the Swahili because what it did is it gave us an input, okay, of what information was being told to us in regards to Kenya being a place of humanity. And so we learned Swahili. I don't know Umoja and Imani. Somebody come up to me and say something to me like that. Huh? But the thing is, it's good, right? There's some people who learned another language doing just that. Learning another language is good. So I have to have big ups and thanks to Dr. Malachi York. You know, he will use his material like Rosetta Stone. Man, people are using English, Arabic, Hebrew, and whatever else he had going on. Okay? And possibly other languages. Do not get it twisted. Oh, wow, really? Okay. Yes, big up to Dr. York. We know, Putnam County. We ain't gonna go there. That's why I say something about kite society. What? Anyway, we live in our communities, and if we do not know what and how we can improve it, why ask someone else what they think? We ask them because they may recognize something we are not seeing. Yes, people, we need to improve our relationships and build, reinforce our relationships with the connectivity. You know that nativity. The connectivity. The nativity. You know, I don't... Just catch up. Catch up. You know what I mean. Of women and men. Man and woman. Woo. Woo. It doesn't matter. Wow. How about that? Womb. I think that's what it says. Mom. M-O-W-W-O-M. It doesn't matter. Catch it up. The woman should look up to her man. Just know that. Yes, that's Nguzo Saba. All of that. Yes, the man should look up to the woman and the woman look up to the man. And just a free thought, I said reciprocal force of 69.97, 96.69. When you look at it, it becomes a percent on both sides. Wow, check that out. I'm telling you the truth. That was like 69, 96. I ain't even getting that percent. Okay? Okay. You know, it went on the X side. Don't get it twisted. Hey, the union is you are. We are, and it matters. Okay? For some reason, again, I'm going to say it again, as I said it to Mr. Wilson, who supported me for the Unity Council seat. He gave me his name and his telephone number, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me, and I was telling him, and And so anyway, he said he's going to give me the support for the Unity Council, so I'm happy for Mr. Wilson. Thank you. Anyway, oh gosh. Boop. The point is, we matter. Okay? All right. Worthy, ACRB. I went to the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. I'll go back to that. I went to the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. Did y'all know about it? Did y'all know that the Atlanta Citizen Review Board exists? Well, the Atlanta Citizen Review Board, I read over it already, the materials. And the materials, and in terms of police, whether they're in prison or whether they're on the street. Yes, we need to build kite society. Street Meat Company is seeking a seat on the board. Those of you who have an interest in participating and advocating, please sign on to Kite Society, Street Meat Company. Okay. All the rest of those things are branches, and yes, they may be able to stand on their own, but with guidance and structure is what we needed, and what we need, not disputing our forefathers, our foremothers, or people who are working on these things tirelessly every day. But sometimes you have to pull in new energy, good energy, because it has gone somewhere else. Now here it is, but we ain't gonna go there. I've been trying to find somebody who's been adequate enough to participate with me in the housing market. But everybody seems like they're just so busy, or that they're just running somewhere else. Huh? Okay, I ain't going to go over that again here. Okay. So anyway, I just got a text and it says, can someone else go? I know that's right. Sure. Who? Some people think they're so busy. I know I do. Every day I'm like, I got to write this person about this aviation and that one too. Yes, people, yes, we need to upgrade what that thing is. I know I talked a little bit about Kite Society and a little bit about Naguzo Saba. True amelioration, I tell you the gun honest truth. Yes, this is why I'm going to some of the classes, because yes, it's time for me to upgrade on some of the classes that is a complement to my degree. If you go on www.streetmeat.biz, you will read that I do have a major in global logistics and supply chain management. So I do have an interest in products. I also have an interest in business. Okay? So, they were saying something about this, that, and the other. I'm like, honey boo. Big up to these women who are where they are. I appreciate you. And this is what I had learned when I went to the SBA. Women, there are programs out there for us, just like everybody else. Let me explain something to you. I appreciate where we live, honey. Don't get me misunderstood. Can we improve certain things? Yes. But when we can look at where we could be somewhere else and what that could look like, motherfucker, what? We protect what we have like we know it means something. And it doesn't have to be like we have to suck and kiss nobody's ass. We live here. That positive is us. Now, the thing is that there's some conversation. I just want to make sure that we have some understanding about me. I'm not trying to be like, But let me explain. Over a year ago, listen, if I have to prioritize where I would want my relationship and what that means to me and what that means with my relationship with my family and my community, I kind of break it down sometimes, right? Then sometimes certain things, first of all, I think I have more interest with street meat than I think that I would probably have with a man. So just because I meet somebody doesn't necessarily mean that I have an interest in them. We're losing sight on what a man's responsibility should be. If that was over there, don't harass me about that then. See? Okay. Here it is, a whole lot of people was sitting there grubbing and eating for free. But yet, while they want to sit here talking about the B-I-N-D, or that here it is they remember, we have to ask a question, and the question is, what do you mean? Baby, I don't know how much I can explain this, but I've been single for a while. And the thing is as much as they want to sit here and talk about this and that, I tell you that here it is. What? On that? That's my stuff. You wouldn't know that. This is why we need to do kite society. There should be a thing on DNA profiling. That shit is just wrong. And it's not a right. I don't care if they showed you that or this or that. It doesn't matter. Hey, there's just certain things that can and cannot be concealed. What else you got going on? But anyway, moving right along, my expression is clear. Here it is. Don't try to make me feel like I'm obligated or here it is. What? Hold up. A man know how he wants to treat a female. When did it become that the light-skinned man didn't like his swarthy sister? Excuse me. His mama. Excuse you. His female. Back in the day, honey, it wasn't no problem for no light-skinned man to love up on his onyx woman. Why we gotta argue about that? But that right there is not the question now, is it? Vice versa, whether it was a light-skinned sister or a dark-skinned man. It didn't matter now, did it? When did we begin to look at it as if it's important? How about here it is? We just decided that we want to be with who we want to be with. And here it is, we begin to realize that maybe something else is talking to us that shouldn't be there. When did it become an issue that love had to have a color? Man, I ain't gonna fib to you. I was out there in California and I began to look at certain things. I'm like, for real, huh? Look at them. Appreciate, is it about color? Wow. And then we have to ask, why do we look like we look? Check it out. Let's pay attention. Oh, then it went somewhere else. The thought is clear. If you feel like you're involved with somebody and you want to keep their company, you will keep their company irregardless. I look at people and all kinds of stories and I've begun to realize that a lot of this BS that's being pushed is just that. When a man feels like he wants to have a relationship with somebody, he wants to have a relationship with some woman or vice versa, some man. Certain things are not mandatory, but they do have arranged functions. We have arranged marriages or arranged engagements. Listen, when people get married, this is the thing when we start relating now to Google's topic. And what it is for women to really write down what that is. Not a man, but women. Okay, so that means that here it is, me and a group of other elder women. We need to define what that is because, yes, our men need structure, and, yes, we have to come into agreement for that. Here it is, yes, we can harmonize inside our house, or in our home. Boop, that done went somewhere else. Why? Because here it is, the cell was just that. As if here it is, we're irrelevant. But I know from the beginning that here it is, there was relevance. That right now that there is relevance. I'm sorry to hear that here it is, it's dancing around like here and there, like we've given authority over our beings to somebody else. But Do we need to get buck wild on Bite Street? The answer depends on what you're talking about. So listen, a man knows how he wants to have and treat a female. If you're participating in something at that point, it's a concern. Here it is for a man to tell me that he wants to embrace me, and then yet here it is in like disgrace, then it's not for me, it's for somebody else. For some reason, over a period of time, I have experienced something, and it was not favorable. And yet here it is, as much as they want to give 1,000 thank yous, I have 1,000 rebukes too. And then maybe I could apply some thank yous, okay? Now when I look at, here it is, my experience in these different areas, I am concerned about BAWA and the Department of Just Us. Don't get it twisted. When did it become okay when we start looking at domestic violence, bitches? Call Jim Crow. Bring that motherfucker out. We need to talk to you. While we sitting here perpetrating and pretending, honey, for real, they did have that cow sitting up there and they was sucking on it as if it was for free. On what end of the stick? Please, I tell you the God honest truth, I'm going to let you know right now, this whole aspect of racism, I understand that there's different forms of racism. We have economics, we have color, we have weapons, okay? And maybe a few other things. But when we look at it, it all still boils down to something. Those who have it and those who do not. When we look at racism, it's on a pyramid. When we look at economics, it's on a pyramid. When we look at weapons, it's on a pyramid. Or on levels, however you feel like you want to look at it. But when we have people who are not engaged in certain things and their conversation in itself is about the well-being of, here it is, just some of the basic things. Hey, we want to plant more trees. Oh, hey, we want to do this. That is no different than anybody else. Don't have nobody get you twisted as if here it is, it looks a certain kind of way. Have you traveled to see certain things someplace else? So anyway, I made that long drawn out conversation to imply just this. You know, the thing is just because of that, because it is, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't want to do business somewhere else. It's as if I have not met anybody. What? I met a few folks, huh? Okay. So that is to say, is that here it is. There we go. That here it is. Street Meat Company is here and beyond. Okay? Do not chain me. Wow. Is it chain, C-H-I-N, shame, S-H-A-M-E, or change? Boo. Really. Boo-hoo. Do not. Why? And you know, somebody was saying, well, here it is. And I'm like, and that's how they handle their woman in this light? They, oh, you're right, huh? And yet, you know, all those things going on, you want to play like here it is, oh, we got to start all over. Why we have to start all over when here it is, we know what it looked like? Well, we have to pretend and perpetrate, and here it is, abide by somebody else's rule because they want to see here talking about, well, you see this, that, and the other. I know that's right. Why would you give them that authority and not say, Say, here it is, it's like this, but you watching me, you want to see here, that's for them. Who is them when I look like I look? Who you represent? Sit down. No. Yeah, here it is going back and forth. There's somewhere in there, something ain't adding up. Wow. Say, I have mentioned time and time again just that. Untie yourself from that tree. We don't need your noose. We don't need that link. Here it is, that whole aspect of mental slavery, that stuff is real. And unfortunately, in this day and age, it seems like racism is there. You know, there's this lady, she has this thing. Her name is Miss Lede. And I was on my page on Facebook, and she had held an event. Let me see if I get the proper name of it, okay? So I'll make sure that it's being read properly. And they just had this recently. Big up to Misty. Oh, I missed that on the meeting. Oh, well. They was having this meeting at Manuel's Tavern tonight. And I was out and about. I was traveling at the ACRB. I guess I could have found myself over there. But anyway, for those of you who feel like they want to stay in the know, please sign up to meetup.com. You know, people are talking about unity. There are people out there doing great things. But the young lady is called, her name is Today, or Lede, and she does great Hello Racism. It's called Hello Racism. Okay? So yes, this thing is, it's like, really? You would think that it doesn't exist, but it do. You know, and one moment. You know, sometimes when I find out that I missed certain meetings and things like that, like I didn't participate, or, honey, that's one of Street Me goals, honey, for us to participate and get involved and be involved in other people's stuff. Maybe we can mend those things and try to make what that thing is. We got a lot of people who's out there with their own website. What? We have people out there. Listen, you know, right there by the Shrine of the Black Madonna in West End, they have this empty school. It would be really ideal to actually have that as a school for some of these people who are out there who feel like they want to just be. Most of these people, when you think about it, they're only on Imani faith. And it's like, well, you know what? We really can use. They are. Well, we don't even know if that's faith. You know, they be sitting there talking about the religion, and here it is, we were black, and calling all these different things, and I'm like, well, I was listening to the sister, and she was like, well, here it is, some of those things that are ancient, we shouldn't be calling, and so I had to ask her, hers being a Hebrew Israelite, well, then why do you guys do that? So I was just like, okay, I ain't gonna argue with you. But then if we can have some of those people who are out there on the streets and their theology scope and aspect, it would be good for them to actually be able to get the chance to travel and even participate in some of these monasteries that they got going on. Because I don't think they understand, because if you understood, you wouldn't be out there bickering out there like that. Anyway. Morality, politics, and law. At the still point of the turning world, neither flesh nor fleshless, neither from nor towards, at the still point there the dance is, but neither a rest nor movement. Blessings. And do not call to fixity, where past and future are gathered. neither movement from nor towards, neither ascent nor decline, except for the point, the still point. There will be no dance. There is only the dance. I can only say that there we have been, but I cannot say where, and I cannot say how long, for that it is a place and time. Bert Norton, The Fourth Quartet, 1935, T.S. Eliot. Wow, that seemed pretty good. I'm about to read that again. Maybe I don't fumble over what I read. T.S. Eliot, Bert Norton, 1935, The Four Quartets. At the still point of the turning world, neither flesh from at the wow, that seemed pretty good to me. Now this is coming out this morality book. Okay. Now here it is. One of my books is the How a Man Thinketh. Thank you. Thank you. A vision of future social order is based on the concept of human nature. If in fact man is an indefinitely malleable, completely plastic being with no innate structures of mind and no intrinsic needs of a culture or social character, then he is a fit subject for the shaping behavior by the state authority, the corporate manager, the technocrat, the central committee, blessings. Those with some confidence in human species will try to determine the intrinsic human characteristics that provide the framework for intellectual development, the growth of moral consciousness, cultural achievement, and participation in their free community. Can there be moral knowledge? According to moral skeptics, there cannot be moral claims. Claims about what it is or what it is not, good or bad, right or wrong, just or unjust, do not have truth value. They cannot bear the predicate true, false, or any equivalent predicate such as rationally acceptable, unacceptable. Therefore, such claims cannot be objects of knowledge, according to moral skeptics. Knowledge, unlike belief, is an achievement word. There are true beliefs and false beliefs, but knowledge is a truth. Blessings, blessings, blessings. To deny that there can be moral knowledge, yes, it's a poorly made, is to deny that moral claims can be objects of knowledge. Here are some typical formulations of moral skeptics. And of course, we just have some other things here. And I will break down and read some of those other things. Confuse a lack of derivation with a lack of justification or a lack of objectivity. Non-derivability, in some cases, amounts to the lack of justification or of objectivity. You know, that just sounds like somewhere else to me, but I'm going to work it out. But in other cases, it betokens self-evident. And these cases are to be found in every field of inquiry. For in every field, there is and must be at some point or point an end of the end to, let me make sure I'm saying this word right. I think that was the words that I was fumbling over. But anyway, let me go over those words. And at that point or points, we find ourselves faced to the self-evident, which makes possible all subsequent See? Wow. Don't I need to learn how to speak some English? Interferences in that field. They're not big words, but pronunciation matters. I'm about to go and find out what they read like. It's something easy, but I'm tongue-tied. Untie your tongue. Like, here it is. Why should I be dealing with somebody who's trying to tongue-tie? Anyway, that was just something. So that was just a little bit out of this one book. I will return it. I'm really not finding the information that I wanted to read in regards to what would have been aligned. Don't get me misunderstood. I think objective and subjective information is the scope of what we probably need to understand. Okay, and then also overstand in the conversation. But it's such a simple theme. Okay? But anyway, I wanted to say I will find those words tomorrow, and I'll make sure that I sound them appropriately, because my thing is not signing on. Okay, there you go. I got my jokes routine. Uh-oh. I'm on here like, it's quite okay, huh? I'm still on the phone, so one moment. Okay, this one speaks about Aristotle and all that kind of stuff. I'm just kind of fanning through it. For some reason, those words that I was talking about, I didn't, they just went somewhere else. Yay! I didn't want y'all to know that. Anyway. I didn't hold the page for that. But it's okay. I'll try to read those things a little later. Oh, is this it? Subsequent. Everybody knows subsequent. I didn't read it, but subsequent. And that the word, it was derivability. Let me read it. I am a woman on words sometimes. Divability. This stuff reminded me when I was going to medical assistant school, and we had to learn some of the words, I guess the lingo for medicine, and so this is what it kind of reminds me of. It's derivability, but I have to make sure that I say it correctly. Derivability. I know. I don't want to come off like I must know it all. Derivability. See? Derivability. What does that mean? Okay, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this, I guess our little session now in conversation. I did want to mention for the churches, it would be ideal if the churches actually had began finding out with their congregation what they can do. The thing is that when we're communicating about community wealth, that's also including the congregation. There was some time that I've asked where they were bigging up all these organizations like NOI, NAACP, Urban League, and all of them. And it was just like, wow, what do they know? Do any of those people have any ideas that they feel like they want to share to create the community wealth? That was a question. The answer should be yes, they should have something out there. Hold on, the quality or state of being derivable. Schemas. Okay, the standard form of rules and inference. But that's not what you're asking me. Is do you know how to say the word derivability? That is the point. So derivability. Okay? And then here it is. I'm looking at some things that's talking about logic and talking about chain rule logic and all that kind of stuff. So I'm saying that to you for a reason. Yes, I know I read it outside this book. But because I didn't know how to say it properly, then that means you should know how. Ability. Okay? What is it? Wow. All right, that's good enough for me. Anyway, I want to say, for those people who, your congregation inside your community and your churches, please, find out what your people can do so that you also can create business, so that we can create the community wealth. There's a lot of these, some of these churches, they have mega churches. Some of these churches would be looking for their congregation to be talking about innovation. And it's just the truth. We have a lot of people who own street, a lot of people who are in their churches, a lot of people who are here and there. The thing is that but then it depends on what those things look like. It matters. But of course, here it is. Those people don't trust in their church and they think, listen, you should be able to trust the church is going to provide and produce the community wealth. All too often it makes you wonder, yes, I know that these churches end up having their staff and they're working and all that kind of stuff, but the church should also be investing in their congregation. And they should ask if anybody in their congregation have any ideas, especially when it's pertaining to business. The reason why is because in the church, you're able to create jobs and employment. And that's something that we want to be able to create. No, we don't want to look at it as if it's negative. And no, it's not Jim Jones. It is. Do not call that man up like that. But it has something to do with building community wealth. People, we should be able to trust somebody. And yes, we should be able to trust. Okay, Mike Jones? Okay. We should be able to trust our minister and know that our minister has the best interest of the congregation when it comes down to our money. Why would you have your congregation and those people when you know they need jobs, you know they want to create jobs, and you know that here it is you got LLP and LLC, and here it is you're not helping your own congregation and try to help ameliorate what that thing is while you in your movement? Can you not help them create that too? Sure you can. Come on, people, really? Anyway, as usual, we do appreciate that you have joined us on Street Meet the Point. Now, no, seriously, we have a lot of churches. We do. And those organizations, guess what? Not just going to, here it is, the Gospel Fest, but those churches also need to be investing in grassroots. And not only grassroots, but here it is, these little juvenile jails they put our kids in. What? And here it is, a corrections facility. What? Yes, y'all know y'all should. Because the thing is that should not be like that. So here it is, these people, I tell you, the gun on truth, there's people with ideas. It just makes me wonder how many people actually go inside their churches and they be sitting there thinking about how they going to pay their rent and their bills, but yet they got business ideas. It makes me wonder how many, it's one thing congratulating your youth and their achievements, but what about the millions of people who are in these churches and they graduated from college? Did the congregation let their church know that? What kind of intimate relationship are they got going on? Huh? Okay. No, that relationship should always be scheduled and maintained a certain kind of way. But the thing is a lot of people do. They go church hopping, and then here it is. Yes, there should be some contract and the interest at heart for the people in the congregation and, of course, the people who are visiting. Yes, we should have already had community wealth. Yes, the churches are responsible in trying to also invest in their congregation. Yes, I know. A lot of them done got Bentleys and driving good, and yet I'm walking up and down the street. Grassroots. What? Okay. Thanks for joining Street Meet Company, The Point, or Street Meet, The Point, listening audience, and hope to have your support. We accept donations, crowdfunding support, and your participation. Everyone is valuable, and your participation to help yourself, your family, your community, local, okay, state, region, federal, and global community relies on the many people that contribute to it being an effective structure. Yes, people, we matter. Okay? Okay. Wow. Street Meet the Point. Thanks again. Please visit us at www.streetmeet.biz and our Connect partner, www.meetup.com/street-meet. We are looking for people to join up to the meetup.com. We do have a preference that people participate in some of the events that are going on. I mean, it is important. You know, I go on Eventbrite and go to the searching here and there of some of these organizations and that and this and that and the other, just trying to make sure that we maintain a schedule so that other people are able to acknowledge what Street Meet interests are and what we're trying to achieve, what we would like to do. I mean, it's just the truth. Okay? All right. Thank you, and have a good night. One moment, I have to go back to this thing. Because here it is. We were on derivability. Let me say it again. Derivability. All right. Just say it a little slower. I guess I'll get it. Anyway.
Deux enfants d'Ouya, raconte dans tes histoires. Mise pas mon enfant, il dort avec un va rôder. La case Momo Montonia n'a toujours un gazon. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, ça la point du tout. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, tu vois pas ça que la pointe. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, ça la point du tout. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, tu vois pas ça que la pointe. Jodi ton anniversaire Tonia, nous les donne malisés. Même en l'an 2000 Tonia, mais voilà ton Dieu. Crois pas mal à oublier Tonia, mal agir devant bon Dieu. Que m'a fait toujours ton bonheur, jodi mal est dépassé. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, ça la point du tout. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, je ne vois pas ça que la pointe. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, ça la point du tout. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, je ne vois pas ça que la pointe. La 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 na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Demain il retourne là-bas, voir Monsieur Tonnerre. Même s'il a fine de moi, la fille rien pour moi. Mais ça va dire lui, monsieur, fait bec à moi clé. Pour moi gagner un petit monnaie, pour acheter manger. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, ça la point du tout. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, je ne vois pas ça que la pointe. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, ça la point du tout. Ça nana n'a pour gâter, je ne vois pas ça que la pointe. Momo l'a jamais dit à moi, quand la pointe il faut voler. Papa l'a jamais dit à moi, quand la pointe il faut